I am Unbound Sage, and welcome to a tier list of the legendary weapons in the Godforge minigame. There will be a timestamp down below. We'll be going over how to view these weapons and how good they are. So we're going to be ranking them at rank 1 because we know we're probably going to have it at rank 1 in the alpha. You need duplicate weapons to rank up. And we heard that getting legendary weapons is difficult in this game. So I don't know how hard it will be. I think we should rank these at rank 1 just because of the things we've heard about them. With that being said, let's get into it. We're going to start with Aegis, right? So Aegis says on screen here that we have a chance to reflect a debuff back to the enemy and will always reflect the first debuff. I like this. I really do. However, it's really situational, right? So I think that is the definition of fine, right? You're gonna find use for it. I think must takes are just like the really hot top shelf stuff. I think the fine is kind of like, yeah, you could do worse, right? If you're PvP, I'm sure this is great, right? Your whole team having shields. We're kind of the Loki meta that we are, people are predicting. I don't think Loki's gonna be a huge deal, but if it's a Loki meta, you have your whole team full of this, reflect the sleep back to them. And I think bad is something you shouldn't be taking right now. I think probably the rank 1 is unimpressive. So anyway, let's go to the next one. We have Ame-no-nuboko. This is Izanagi's weapon. I don't know. It has a chance to gain 1 stack of temporal Aegis or arcane Aegis when the turn meter or divinity is reduced by an enemy. I don't know what that is. As a human, the fear of the unknown scares me. It's bad. I don't know what it does. It could be really good. I would say bad, though. We have really good options here. I don't think gambling is necessary. Then we have Aten. This is Raw's weapon. It says we're going to have a 10% chance, damaging debuffs have a 10% increased damage. I think this is fine, right? I think Aten is one of 2 weapons that really suffer from not being able to easily level. Like when we're talking 60% increased damage of these blazes, these bleeds, that's really good. 10% is kind of a drop in the bucket. So I'm not a huge fan of it because of that. Especially it's not going to be all the characters' damage. We think of these premier setters. We think of, for Acid, we think of Hercules. For Bleed, we think of Dracula. And for Blaze, we think of Raw. And all 3 of them do a lot of damage with the rest of their kit as well. And I would say that like the debuff damage isn't even most of their damage. So this is not something I'm terribly interested in. Next, we have King Arthur's sword, Excalibur. Excalibur is going to be a must take. It is very, very, very good. The reason why is the people that wield it are really, really good. Heimdall, we know the A5 Heimdall is putting up 3 buffs on everybody. We know that the Isis isn't, and the description on the screen now tells us the more buffs we have, the more damage these people are doing. I read this as when Isis is when Heimdall puts out his 2 buffs each, everyone has 5% more attack, right? Until those buffs wear out. When Isis, we know what Isis can do. Your entire team could have 10 meds, right? Like that's 25 damage. So same thing with like Vivian. Makes sense. Her Excalibur would be quite good. She's just giving out these buff and then buff extending as well. So very, very good. Next we have, this is Sorog's hammer, I think. This is ForgeFire. I think ForgeFire is a must take, and I think we are going to rate these in rate. I think it is better than Excalibur, only because how versatile it is. You cannot take damage before you have taken a turn. We know that they are designing the game where speed is not king necessarily, or it has competition. And this really enables these slow builds to go. And you get that on rank 1, right? So, and then afterwards you have 10% DR. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Damage reduction is always a very well appreciated stat. Next, we have the Maquahuitl. This is Montezuma's weapon, and it is bad. The reason why is because it's rank 1. I think that if we're talking rank 6 Maquahuitl, it's probably the best weapon, one of them, right? If we're talking rank 1 Maquahuitl, it's kind of underwhelming, right? Comparative to this stuff here. Maybe it goes in the bottom of fine. I think I always fear the unknown more, so the unknown ones can be at the bottom, obviously. But yeah, it's kind of bad, right? This we only get 1 rank of Maquahuitl, so spooky, spooky, spooky. Mjolnir. I think Mjolnir, I'm gonna put at the bottom of fine. 50% damage is nothing to sneeze at. Especially on your slayers, if you can engineer this where, you know, you do 2 basics and then you have this like big core that maybe, you know, if wave 1 they're doing like 2 hits and then the rest of the team clears, and then wave 2 you have this 50% extra damage core, could be really good, especially with ultimates as well. There are scenarios where like you core, you kill everyone, and then it's like your starter, so you get a bunch of divinity, and then you hit someone, and then your ultimate now is doing it just a ton of damage, right? However, you know, I think you have to engineer the situations this is good, while these guys up here are just generally good every way. Like invokers and defenders are throwing out buffs like it's candy, and you know, not taking damage on your before your first turn is also really good, right? So yeah. We have, this is Pazuzu's weapon, and it's pretty controversial. It's pretty spooky. So we have Namsaru on the screen here. It is not fine. I accidentally dropped it. It is definitely a must take, and the argument is it here? Is it here? Right? Or is it here? You know, I think that's the case for all of these. I think that the top players are really struggling. These are all so close in value that I think, like, I haven't heard an argument that leans me one way or another, but this is my tier list, so I'm going to organize it the way I want to. I think that I value, I play a very Slayer heavy play style. I love Slayers. I love the multiplication of their kit and how much damage you can pump out of them. So I value ForgeFire to keep them alive. And then I think Excalibur is easier to use, and I value ease of use a lot, right? I like plug and play. But Namsaru does a lot of damage, and it gains a lot of divinity. So I'm thinking Namsaru, I'm going to definitely tell him a must take, and these 3 are so close in power level. I cannot overstate that. Finally, here's the last 2. We have Thunderbolt, Zeus's weapon. Unfortunately, you can't get Zeus, but you can get his weapon. And if you attack out of turn, right? Let me find it here. There it is. Those enemy joins an attack, increase their turn meter and divinity by 5. I'm going to put it here for one reason. Wukong. Wukong exists. And Thunderbolt with Wukong is a considerable option. Now, I think Wukong is probably better paired with a Excalibur user. I think that one of the strongest combos would be like Isis Wukong, because he has that that innate damage buff to his core. However, right, so buffing him, you're already buffing him anyway, so you might as well like double down on that with Excalibur. But I could see the argument where if like, hey, you don't know if you're going to have a good support, you want the Thunderbolt. Sure, right? He's going to be attacking out of turn like 50% of the time. It's absolutely disgusting. And especially if you have someone like a Vivian or a Shamash. I think Shamash is also another consideration where you're going to put this Thunderbolt on someone else and have Shamash bring them in. And I think the divinity is a real consideration as well, because they are giving you 5% divinity if you're, you know, Shamash and Wukong together, right? If you like pull one from the minigame, then pull the other one from your summons. Spooky. Very spooky. But I think it just teeters on the edge of bad and fine. And I think if you wanted to put it down here, I think that I'd perfectly agree with you. I think I want to put it here, though, because I can see a use case for it at its rank 1. And finally, we have Pengu's Axe, right? Which is the World Splitter. And unfortunately, it is another stacking one. And it goes with the other 2 stacking ones, right? But it goes above this weapon because I don't know what Temporal Aegis is. And that's scary, and I have fear of the unknown. So it's at the very bottom. I don't recommend taking this because we don't know what it does. It could be up here, right? It could be crazy, but I think we have good enough effects. We don't have to gamble on an unknown. But with World Splitter, strong hits, I really haven't engineered ways to get a lot of strong hits. Like the things that come to my head are like Mulan with like a Minotaur imprint, which will give you 60% chance to strong hit against strength under vanish while you have full divinity. And then giving Mulan 30% DR and strong hit damage, that's real. And she will be strong hitting quite often, right? I think enough to stack it. But I go through all that trouble and I get 1 stack, right? Because it's rank 1. I think there will be fun builds with this, especially as they add more strong hit support. But I don't think it's in the game right now. I don't see it unless it's it's probably in a kit not revealed, maybe. But like we kind of see some characters like Beowulf really tries a strong hit, right? And I think he's another candidate for it with his with his bonker, right? His core always strong hit, but that's on Ascended 3 on a Eternal Epic, which we know is not up for grabs here. You can't get a Beowulf, and summoning him will be quite hard, especially at an A3. Like, I don't even think like a light spender's not getting him, and even whales will be, heavy spenders, right? It may not get Beowulf A3, right? Like that's a real commitment, I think, or A5, one of the 2. So I think the 2 users of World Splitter that come to mind, which is Mulan and what is his name? Beowulf. I don't think they're that good, right? And especially with 1 stack. But that's the tier list, guys. If you like it, like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Also, if you're a dirty person that clicked on the timeline to go back and learn why they're good. They're good on different people, right? So go back. Watch the actual video. You cretin. Anyway, it's been fun, guys. A lot of this consideration has been talking with top players as well, like people in the Hive Mind, people in the other CCs and such. And I think this is my consensus listening to everyone. And everyone's going to have a different one. And these are ordered as well. Maybe I'll do this. I think I value Mjolnir over Aten. But, all right, guys, take care. I will see you in the next one. Bye.